amazing people, Batdan231 here, and today, to honor our veterans and Veterans Day, I am going to be giving you a history of one of my favorite veterans, Captain America. So let's begin. Now, Steve Rogers' dad was a reckless and bull-headed fellow who unfortunately died in World War I. I know, a superhero's parent died? No way. Steve's dad's death brought up a fire in Steve that only made him want to join the military from a very, very young age, and this was supported by his mother. His mother often told him that, Steve, you're not the biggest boy in the bunch, but you've got the heart and courage of 10 men. Unfortunately, Steve Rogers' mother died of tuberculosis. I know, both their parents died. Where have I heard that before? One day, Steve Rogers was walking along and the local school bullies ran into him and decided they were going to beat up Steve for his money and what little he had. Thankfully for him, Bucky Barnes shows up out of nowhere, and at this time Steve doesn't know who Bucky is, and Bucky is able to chase off the bullies. This then starts a lifelong friendship between Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes. Their friendship follows them all the way into college until they hear on the radio that Pearl Harbor has been bombed. Both Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes really want to join the military, but Bucky tells Steve, "You're not ready, bud." But unlike everyone else, Bucky Barnes did not turn his back on Steve. He took him to the gym and taught him how to fight and hopefully how to build some muscle. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for poor Steve Rogers to join the military. He tried over and over again, which was against the law, which he never actually got in trouble for, to my knowledge. And eventually, he was found by a scientist whose name I have unfortunately forgotten, but his name will be right here. I can't believe I've forgotten the main character's name. He is now the participant of the Super Soldier Serum, and with that, Steve Rogers turns into Captain America, which, on a side note, actually was going to be called Super America, but the original creator of Captain America said there were too many supers and not enough captains, and it was as simple as that. Now, if you guys are current with the MCU and followed up on your comic book history, you know pretty much all of what happened next. Steve Rogers ends up fighting in World War II. Bucky joins him as his partner in heroism. Unfortunately, Bucky dies. If you're watching the MCU, he falls off a train. If you watch the animated series, he gets blown up. He's died in a couple different ways. And this was a life-changing moment for Steve Rogers, but he never gave up, and he kept fighting the good fight. Until one day, Red Skull was going to launch a missile at I believe it was America, I could be mistaken, and Captain America was like, I ain't gonna let that happen. And so that is how Captain America plunged into the ocean. He is frozen for several years until he is thawed out by the Avengers. After the Avengers prove his Captain America, they go on many, many adventures to him until Captain America finds the Winter Soldier, unknown to him at the time, that is Bucky Barnes. Once Captain America and Bucky Barnes are reacquainted, and they become another crime-fighting duo until the Civil War happens. Now, the movie is not entirely true to the comics, unfortunately. However, at the climax of the Civil War, Captain America is shot by Crossbones, and a possessed Sharon Carter is what gives the final blow, supposedly killing Captain America, but I'll get back to that in a second. With the world out of a Captain America, they needed someone who could fill those great big boots, which is what I believe they wore in World War II. Besides good old Bucky Barnes, he takes up the Captain America mantle for some time until we realize that Steve Rogers has been traveling through space-time, appearing in all sorts of different battles and fighting his way through them all, until Red Skull uses the Tesseract to bring him back to current day, possessing his mind and body. With the help of the Avengers, sorry, I just realized I'm talking fast. With the help of the Avengers, Captain America is able to regain control of his body. Also, once Captain America gets back, he receives a pardon from any action he had done in the Civil War, which basically puts Cap on a clean slate. Besides setting up for the military multiple times. How did he get away with that? But now, there are two Captain America, Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes. Steve Rogers decides to give the current Captain America, Bucky Barnes, his shields and says, "Good luck, you've earned it, keep doing what you're doing." Unfortunately, a few issues later, Bucky Barnes is killed by a villain simply known as Sin. With Bucky Barnes' death, Steve Rogers decides the world still needs a Captain America, so he picks up his shield and begins fighting with the Avengers once again. Several issues and battles later, Captain America throws his shield at a villain whose name I have forgotten. However, his name is on the screen. Said villain is able to break Captain America's shield with his bare hands over his head. Thankfully, with the help of the Avengers, Captain America is able to defeat said villain, and later Tony Stark gives Captain America a newer, stronger shield. And all of a sudden, Bucky is not dead anymore. Apparently he never died, and the only ones to know about this were Nick Fury and Black Widow, to the best of my knowledge. I could be wrong. And since the world already has a Captain America, Bucky Barnes resumes the role of Winter Soldier, and that is my history of Captain America. I know there's a bunch of battles and important stuff I probably missed, but those are the things that stuck out to me the most. So, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to honor your veterans, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!